In the heart of the dense tropical rainforest, where massive leaves blocked out the sunlight, two mighty ant empires were rising. The Formica colony, with its main nest deep beneath an ancient tree root, was a society of iron discipline. Queen Formica Magna, a majestic creature with a glossy red exoskeleton, had ruled for over 3 rainy seasons. Under her leadership, hundreds of thousands of worker ants, soldiers, and hunters tirelessly expanded their territory. They constructed winding tunnels, gathered leaves and honeycombed acorns, turning the forest into a colossal factory of life. But nearby, beneath the damp layer of decaying leaves, the Carebara colony was silently growing stronger. Queen Carebara Rex, twice the size of her rival, commanded an army of gigantic ants, their muscles bulging, ready to crush any foe. They survived by raiding, enslaving smaller colonies, and now, with food sources dwindling, these two empires were being drawn into a vortex of conflict. The dry season began, and water became scarce. Small streams turned into the first battleground. A Formica scouting party, led by a brave soldier ant named Vanguard with razor-sharp mandibles, discovered Carebara ants digging tunnels near the border. They're encroaching. Vanguard signaled through pheromones.
The Carebara threat
spreading in the
grows.
air,
We
alerting
must
the entire
prepare.
nest.
Yes, Queen.
Queen Magna
Our
summoned her
scouts
council,
report
the
unusual
elder ants with
movements.
experience from past wars.
Prepare for
We cannot
war.
let them steal our last water source, she commanded. Prepare for war. On the other side of the border, Carebara Rex received the news. Their commander, Titan, a colossal ant with thick armor, sneered through pheromone waves. The Formica think they can stand against us? They will be my slaves. The conflict erupted on a misty morning. A group of Formica workers collecting water from dew on leaves was ambushed. Carebara ants burst from the underbrush, their mandibles seizing and tearing. The distressed pheromones spread, and Vanguard led a rescue squad. The skirmish quickly escalated into a melee. Formica employed guerrilla tactics, hiding behind leaves and striking unexpectedly, while Carebara relied on brute force, overwhelming with numbers. Hundreds of ants lay dead, their bodies ripped apart, but neither side yielded. By afternoon, both retreated, leaving corpses as bait for other insects. This was just the beginning. Queen Magna knew that for survival, Formica must ally with smaller colonies, while Carebara Rex prepared for a full invasion. Deep in the Formica nest, the air was thick with sense of fear and determination. Worker ants rushed to produce battle pheromones, transforming the nest into a fortress. Vanguard was promoted to frontline commander, training new soldiers to use leaves as shields. On the Carebara side, Titan organized drills, teaching the giant ants to form a phalanx formation, a tight-knit wall charging forward. The forest trembled with secret signals, and the shadow of war spread. Other species, beetles, aphids, sensed the change, hiding or exploiting the chaos to multiply. But for the two ant empires, this was a fight for existence. Queen Magna dreamed of a unified forest under the Formica banner, while Carebara Rex craved
Hold the
endless
leaf
slaves
steady,
and resources.
like so.
The true war was about to begin, and ant blood would stain the ground. As the sun set, a Formica scouting party sneaked deep into Carebara territory. They discovered the main nest, a vast labyrinth with millions of ants preparing natural weapons, formic acid from poison glands. Vanguard returned with dire news. They're stronger than we thought. Queen Magna summoned him privately. You must lead us through this darkness, she said, her pheromones carrying ancient strength. Vanguard nodded, his antennae quivering. That night, his dreams were filled with visions of the battlefield, comrades torn apart, the queen captured. On the other side, Titan reported to Carebara Rex, the Formica are weak but clever. We will crush them with power. The Carebara Empire echoed with marching sounds, preparing for a bloody dawn. The forest's underbelly pulsed with tension. Formica workers reinforced tunnels with resin from tree sap, creating barriers against invaders. Scouts reported Carebara patrols doubling, their giant forms casting long shadows. Vanguard gathered his elite squad, sharing pheromone memories of old victories to boost morale. We fight not just for water, but for our legacy, he urged. In the Carebara depths, slaves from conquered colonies toiled under whips of mandibles, forging spears from thorn fragments. Queen Rex inspected her troops, her massive body radiating dominance. Victory will make us gods of the green, she proclaimed. Whispers of alliance rippled through smaller nests. Some feared the giants,
The
others saw
Formica are
opportunity in
weak,
chaos.
but clever.
As night deepened, the
We
first
will
raid
crush
pheromones
them with
wafted, signaling
power.
the end of peace. Vanguard's mind raced with strategies. He recalled tales from elder ants of past wars, where numbers meant nothing against cunning. Formica's advantage lay in speed and venom, the stinging acid that could blind even the largest foe. But Carebara's size allowed them to carry off entire worker teams in one grasp. The Queen, sensing the ship, laid extra eggs, ensuring the colony's future amid the looming storm. The forest floor, once teeming with life, now felt like a graveyard waiting to be filled. Insects paused their foraging. Birds circled higher, as if the world held its breath. War among ants was no mere skirmish. It was a cataclysm that reshaped the ecosystem. In the quiet hours before dawn, Vanguard stood at the nest entrance, antennae twitching. He could smell the enemy on
We
the
need
wind,
to move.
musky, aggressive pheromones carried from afar. Soon, he thought, steeling his resolve, Queen Magna's chamber glowed with bioluminescent fungi, where she communed with her advisors. Unite the weak against the strong, she decreed. Messengers departed for allied nests bearing gifts of honeydew to seal paths. Carebara, ever bold, sent a warning raid. A lone giant ant slain at the border. Its body left as a message. The die was cast. The shadows of the green forest hid horrors yet to unfold. But in the ant world, survival demanded unyielding ferocity. The first light of dawn pierced the canopy, and the second Formica scouting party infiltrated Carebara territory. Vanguard led, followed by 10 elite soldiers, each carrying a drop of formic acid as a weapon. They moved silently, legs gripping the damp earth, avoiding any noise. The target was a Carebara outpost nest, suspected of hoarding food. The forest was like a living maze, twisting roots, slippery leaf litter, and air heavy with warning pheromones. Suddenly, a Carebara patrol spotted them. Invaders, it signaled chemically, and dozens charged immediately. The fight exploded by the dry stream bed. Vanguard seized the smaller Carebara, his mandibles shredding the thin armor, but the enemies were far larger. They formed ranks, charging like a grinder. Formica fought fiercely, spraying acid into foes' eyes, blinding them temporarily. One Formica soldier sacrificed himself, diving into the Carebara crowd to clear an escape path for his comrades. Ant blood, a pale green fluid, splattered the ground, attracting flies and beetles. Vanguard, wounded in the hind leg, led the survivors back, carrying vital intel. The Carebara were water-short, their nest vulnerable from the south. News spread through the Formica nest like wildfire. Queen Magna called her strategists, veteran ants with pheromone memories of ancient battles. We will ambush their water source, she decided. The colony buzzed. Workers dug secret tunnels, soldiers trained in close combat, even young workers learned to transport food to the front. On the Carebara side, Titan raged over the failed raid. He interrogated a captured Formica prisoner, a trembling small ant, forcing out plans. They'll strike from the stream, the captive whispered before being killed. Carebara Rex ordered border fortifications. Ditches dug, fake pheromone traps set to lure scouts. The following days saw relentless reconnaissance. Formica sent small teams using dispersal tactics to probe defenses. Once, they succeeded in stealing an aphid herb, a precious honeydew source from Carebara, sparking fury. Titan led a pursuit through the thicket. The chase ended in a thorny bush. Formica ambushed from above, spraying acid that burned swathes of Carebara, but the giants counterattacked, using sheer numbers to encircle. Vanguard saved the day again, leading escape through an underground tunnel. He became a hero, but accumulating wounds weakened him. That night in the nest, he shared pheromone memories with the Queen. We need allies, Your Majesty. Alone, we perish. Carebara didn't idle. They dispatched their own scouts, giant ants moving swift as wind, into Formica heartland. They found the main tunnel and a minor sabotage occurred. Exploding toxic pheromones killed hundreds of Formica workers. Queen Magna grieved, but turned pain to power. Seek alliances with small colonies, she ordered. Vanguard led the mission to the nearby Tetramorium nest, tiny but agile ants. Through sophisticated pheromone negotiation, they agreed to cooperate in exchange for mutual protection. On the Carebara front, Titan convinced old slave ants to rebel, bolstering forces. War now involved a complex web, not just two sides. As the first rains arrived, reconnaissance peaked. A Formica team was captured alive, and Carebara tortured them for intel. Vanguard from afar felt the agony through the pheromone network. He vowed revenge. The forest floor was littered with ant corpses, death stench spreading, and other species steered clear. War was transforming from probes to preparations for the major clash. Both queens knew control of the stream meant survival. Vanguard refined his tactics, incorporating tetramorium speed for hit-and-run raids. Formica scouts now carried leaf camouflage, blending into the foliage. One daring mission yielded maps of Carebara weak points, overgrown southern flanks. Titan, paranoid, executed suspected spies in his ranks, purging disloyalty. Carebara giants practiced night maneuvers, their footsteps shaking loose soil. Queen Rex dreamed of Formica slaves toiling in her halls. In Formica, young soldiers idolized Vanguard, mimicking his strides. The air hummed with chemical diplomacy, offers to neutrals, threats to waverers. A minor colony fell to Carebara, its workers enslaved, fueling Formica resolve. Deep in the night, Vanguard pondered the cost. Each lost scout was a thread in the colony's fabric unraveling. Yet hesitation meant doom. Messengers returned with alliance confirmations, honeydew bribes sealing bonds. Carebara countered with propaganda pheromones, sowing doubt in border nests. A skirmish at dusk left 20 Formica dead. Their acid sacks burst in futile sprays. Titan claimed victory, but lost twice as many. The reconnaissance war was a grinding attrition, testing nerves before blades clashed. Rain pattered, washing blood into streams, a prelude to the flood of battle. As patrols clashed more frequently, the forest balance tipped. Predators feasted on the fallen, growing bold. Vanguard's wound festered, but healers applied fungal salves. Endure, the queen urged via attendant. Carebara slaves whispered of uprisings, inspired by Formica defiance. The stage was set. Reconnaissance bled into invasion, shadows lengthening toward the decisive storm. On the 70th dawn of the dry season, Formica launched the assault. Vanguard commanded the Legion, 5,000 soldiers backed by tetramorium allies. They advanced like a black river through the forest, battle pheromones masking fear. The objective, Carebara's main stream, the last viable water source. Titan lay in wait, 10,000 giants in phalanx formation. As Formica neared, the pheromone cry echoed attack. The battle ignited streamside. Formica surged like a tidal wave, using speed and acid to shatter Carebara lines. Vanguard decapitated an enemy commander, victory pheromones rallying his troops. Tetramorium struck the flanks, biting legs to topple foes. But Carebara retaliated savagely. Giants crushed Formica horde, mandibles tearing bodies like paper. Titan plunged into the fray, slaying dozens, his armor unscratched. Ant blood dyed the stream red, turning water to a river of death. Thousands fell in the first hour. Formica workers crushed, tetramorium soldiers devoured. Amid the chaos, Vanguard faced Titan. The commanders clashed, mandibles locking in gear. "You'll die here," Titan growled chemically. Vanguard dodged heavy blows, spraying acid at leg joints. Titan reeled in pain but charged, grabbing and hurling Vanguard into thorns. Bleeding, Vanguard rose, severing a Titan antenna. The bout dragged, both armies advanced. Carebara rushed to save Titan, forcing Vanguard's retreat. The fight raged till noon. Formica seized a stream branch, but at horrific cost. 3,000 dead, including the tetramorium leader. Carebara suffered more, yet reinforced by blocking Formica's retreat. Queen Magna, from the nest, felt each loss via pheromones. She ordered withdrawal, but Titan pursued relentlessly. In the woods, ambushes flared. Carebara pit traps snared Formica, while Vanguard's counter surprised from shadows. By evening, exhaustion forced stalemate. Corpses piled high, drawing vultures and dung beetles. Word of the battle spread through the forest. Queen Rex praised Titan but fretted losses. "We need new strategies," she said. Titan planned a counterstrike on Formica's nest. In Formica, Vanguard received treatment, but new war was nascent. Queen Magna convened council. "We've proven strength, but endurance is key." Tetramorium pledged more aid despite heavy tolls. That night, the forest hushed. Pheromone whispers became the bloodstream. The clash shifted balance. Formica held a stream, but Carebara dominated. Skirmishes persisted. Scouts slain, prisoners tortured. Vanguard envisioned peace, but reality was harsher. War became a race. Who recovered faster won. Healers worked overtime, recycling Titan from dead platoons. Titan buried its fallen in mass graves, their scents fueling rage. Allies wavered, some nests neutral from fear. The stream's waters ran murky with remnants, a grim reminder of Unity's fragility. Days blurred into patrols and probes. Formica fortified their gained ground with thorn barricades. Carebara giants foraged farther, risking isolation. A Tetramorium raid stole water carriers, boosting morale. Titan's reprisal razed a Formica outpost, enslaving survivors. Vanguard led a daring night assault, reclaiming lost workers. Exhaustion gnawed, but pheromones of defiance sustained. Queen Magna rationed eggs, prioritizing soldiers. Rex gorged on captives, her brood swelling. The battle's echo lingered, priming for escalation. In the aftermath's quiet, reflections surfaced. Vanguard questioned the toll, antennae drooping. For water we drown in blood, he confided to her. Titan, scarred, honed his fury into drill. Forest life adapted. Aphids multiplied unchecked, beetles scavenged boldly. The bloodstream marked a turning point. Victory tasted of ash, defeat of resolve. As rains teased, the next phase loomed. Total war. Post-bloodstream, Formica expanded alliances. Vanguard's envoy reached the slave-maker colony, raiders specializing in enslavement, proposing unity against Carebara. Through nuanced pheromone talks, they consented, trading battle spoils for food shares. Slave makers brought dirty war skills, propaganda pheromones to sow enemy discord. Meanwhile, Carebara's Titan incited old Formica slaves to internal revolt, sabotaging tunnels and slaying workers in darkness. Conflict intensified with mutual rage. Formica hit a Carebara subnet, slave makers releasing disorienting pheromones. Carebara turned on kin, allowing Formica to loot food stores. Titan avenged by infiltrating Formica borders, capturing hundreds for slavery. In one raid, Vanguard nearly perished, ambushed by turncoat slaves. He executed them, but suspicion poisoned the nest. Queen Magna purged suspects, fear pheromones enveloping all. Formica's coalition grew. Tetramorium offered swift scouts, slave makers chemical arms. They plotted encirclement of Carebara's main nest. Carebara matched. Rex allied with nomadic ants, fierce wanderers for military aid. Titan trained them in ambushes, striking Formica supplies. One night, they torched a honeydew stash, causing famine. Formica cut rations, weakening soldiers. Chaos bred betrayal. A greedy slave maker sold intel to Carebara. They ambushed a Formica convoy, slaying hundreds. Vanguard uncovered it, leading purge of traitors. Alliances are fragile as rot leaves, he reported to Magna. The Queen ordered early assault. Formica's 20,000-strong force marched on Carebara's nest. Titan awaited with fresh allies. Border battle erupted. Carebara phalanx met Formica's hybrid lines. Fighting spanned 3 days. Slave maker pheromones disordered Carebara, but nomads countered viciously. Vanguard and Titan dueled again, armies aiding. Thousands perished, forests crushed. Formica took nest outskirts, but Rex ignited toxic pheromones, forcing retreat. Betrayal persisted. Fearful Tetramorium surrendered to Carebara. Coalitions teetered. Queen Magna rallied spirits. We fight for tomorrow. Vanguard's final counter salvaged alliances, yet Carebara peaked in strength. War turned to alliance games, loyalty tested in fire. Expansions fractured further. Slave makers demanded more spoil, straining ties. Nomads raided indiscriminately, irking Rex. Vanguard negotiated agreements, offering protection. A double-agent Tetramorium fed false claims, leading to Carebara's crash. Half a raid squad lost. Titan's interrogations yielded Vanguard's habits, priming personal strife. Famine bit deep. Workers scavenged fungi, soldiers thinned. Betrayals eroded trust. Whispers of defection in shadows. Magna executed a council into suspected treason, her pheromones ironclad. Rex rewarded loyalists with slave quotas, binding fealty. The web tangled, pulling toward collapse or dominance. A mid-raid, personal tolls mounted. Vanguard's dreams haunted by fallen allies. Titan, antenna regrown, plotted Queen kidnapping. Forest alliances shifted like sand. A small colony joined Formica for safety. Another fell to Carebara coercion. Pheromone diplomacy filled air, promises, threats. A massive betrayal. Slave makers ambushed their own envoys, stealing gains. Vanguard confronted their queen, forging uneasy truce via hostages. War's alliances proved double-edged. Betrayals blazed sharper than mandates. As forces massed, betrayals peaked. Carebara infiltrated Formica with disguised slaves, poisoning water. Vanguard's purge saved the nest, but paranoia reigned. Tetramorium reaffirmed loyalty and blood oath. Rex quelled nomad unrest with executions. The prelude to endgame, alliances forged in desperation, betrayed in ambition. Survival hinged on Unity's thread. The final battle erupted at Forest Core. Formica with Alliance remnants assaulted Carebara's main nest. Vanguard led, determination pheromones spreading. Titan defended, numbers overwhelming. Legions collided, acid flew, mandibles tore, bodies stacked. Queen Rex mobilized fully, while Magna sacrificed workers for nest guard. In the melee, Vanguard infiltrated Carebara, facing Titan ultimately. Savage duel, both gravely wounded, but Vanguard's agility prevailed, slaying Titan. News spread, Carebara panicked. Formica flooded in, enslaving and plundering. Yet Rex escaped, leading remnants deep into wood. Formica triumphed, but at dread price. Colony halved. Magna consolidated territory, absorbing Carebara's slaves. Forest quieted, war scars enduring. Vanguard rose as new commander, dreaming lasting peace. Ant wars taught, strength in unity, not ruin. Small colonies reborn, new packs formed, aging Magna's empire grander. War ended, pheromone memories etched eternal. Rebuilding began swiftly. Formica workers repaired tunnels, integrating slaves under watchful eyes. Vanguard patrolled borders, quelling uprisings. Queen Magna laid fertile eggs, repopulating ranks. Escaped Rex plotted from exile, her whispers stirring distant threats. Forest healed, streams cleared, aphids farmed anew. Alliances endured, Tetramorium thriving as partners. Vanguard reflected on losses, mandibles set firm. From blood growth, he signaled to young. The dawn broke clear, Storm's legacy, wisdom, and unity. Scars lingered, ghost pheromones of fear in old paths, predators returned. Ecosystem balanced, slave makers chastened, shared spoils faithfully. Nomad remnants scattered, lesson learned. Magna's reign solidified, tales of Vanguard legendized. War's end birth era of vigilance, Ant's world forever changed by Storm's fury. In quiet groves, scouts now traded instead of raided. Queens pondered shared borders. The green forest whispered of resilience. Ant societies woven tighter. Dawn's light promised not endless war, but fragile harmony.